So, because Fail is my middle name, welcome back to the shop, or the laboratory, whatever we want to call it. Before I get into what we're going to work on today, I wanted to do a quick shout out to DD Speed Shop. Another YouTuber, another local YouTuber, and he sent a bunch of subscribers over my way a few weeks ago, so my subscriber numbers went just through the roof one day, and I was wondering what was going on until I figured it out, so I wanted to say thanks to those guys. And for my OG subscribers, I'll put a link up here. Go check out DD Speed Shop channel. He's given away a 57 Chevy. All you've got to do is subscribe to his channel and you're entered for that draw. So it's worthwhile to do that. But he does really cool stuff like taking 4-door 55, 6, 7 Chevys and making 2-door versions out of them, which is kind of neat, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. So whole bunch of low buck fabrication type stuff. So go check out his channel. Now back to my channel. GTO is still in the shop. We've got a few more things that we want to get done on it, and they involve clutch and transmission stuff. Now, the specifics of that is going to be a whole other video because we're going to get into some big transmission stuff there. But to get the clutch out, I need to take the transmission out. And to take the transmission out, I need to pull off my X-pipe exhaust, because the X goes right underneath the transmission. Now, my X pipe can be disconnected at the headers, and then I disconnect it at the tailpipe. So I'm taking out the X section and the mufflers, and that thing is big, and it's heavy, and I'm just a noodle-armed little guy. So on the lift, I end up using ratchet straps to do that whole operation. But if I ever have to do a clutch adjustment or change whatever at the racetrack, or at the side of the road, drag week, then I've got to drop that pipe out and somehow try and figure out how to put it all back in there without having the advantage of the lift. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the X pipe in front of the mufflers, and we're going to put in some V-bands, which I had in my hand a minute ago, and now I've misplaced them because that's what I do. Anyway, the V-bands are going to allow me to just drop out that little X section itself between the headers and in front of the mufflers, which is going to be a nice little lightweight thing that my little noodle arms can handle no problem. So, fortunately I got a lift, which is going to make this whole operation a whole lot easier. So, car's going to go up, Ed's going to get underneath it, and we're going to get after it. So here's the exhaust system. So we can disconnect at the headers here, and then of course the X pipe goes right underneath the transmission and into the mufflers, where we've actually got clamps here, which might make you think that we can just undo these clamps and everything nicely slips out, but these things are tight and it's in there. So usually I undo at the back of the mufflers here, the tailpipes. I can wiggle the tailpipes out, and then I drop this whole big section out, but again, it's big and it's heavy. So the plan is to put some V-bands right here. So this unsightly weld, I'm not going to claim responsibility for it, but we're going to cut out basically this unsightly weld. Now, I thought about welding one of the V-bands right to the front of the muffler, but then if the mufflers ever rot out, I'm losing half of my V-bands. So I'm going to keep this clamp, keep this little section of X-pipe that slips into the front of the muffler, put the V-band right in front of it, get rid of the unsightly weld. Well, I might have even more unsightly welds by the time I'm done, because I'm getting rid of one weld and putting in two, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so this gives me the best of everything. If the mufflers ever go bad, I can take them off, keep the V-bands, put new mufflers in. But with the V-bands here, I can drop out just this section of pipe, which is nice and easy and light, and something that I can do by myself, either on the lift or on the ground underneath it. So we're going to mark out exactly how much we need to cut out of the pipe here to get the V-bands in there, because these things well, they do have a thickness to them, so we'll end up taking out 3/4 or whatever it is of pipe length here, and then welding these things in. So let's get some marks on there, and then let's start cutting. All right, we've got our V-band assembly. We've measured that there's, I did get the caliper in here a minute ago. Now that I'm on camera, of course it doesn't work. There we go. Okay, so we've got little steps in here where we're going to butt the ends of the pipes. So we're measuring from the steps on both sides, and it works out to almost exactly 30 millimeters. So we're going to try and cut as close to the weld as possible. So something like that. And then the same thing on this pipe, or, oh yeah, try and get a bit closer to the weld. So, something like that. Now, I know there's going to be people that are going to have a conniption about me using the caliper to actually gouge some cutting marks, but yeah, it's not the tool for that, but it's late, I'm tired, and I'm in pain, so I'm going to use it. However, back to the right tool for the job. We're going to use a tubing cutter that's got some nice rusty blades in it that I borrowed from a friend, so we'll see if this still works. If anything, ideally, it should give us a nice square cut. And if it doesn't do that, at least it should give us a nice line, cut line that we can use on the bandsaw. And yeah, this isn't working worth a crap. So we're going to use it to draw some lines on here, and then take it to the bandsaw. And that's not even giving us a nice clean line. It's giving us a group of lines. So, worst tool ever. But a group of lines is still better than no lines, so we'll try and get another line here. That's ideally still right there. All right, so we're going to pull the whole system out with the mufflers, doing it the hard way. And once I got it all on the ground, I've got some cut lines here now that I can use. And we'll cut this stuff out. We'll tack in our V-bands, and then we'll have to put the whole system back in here, make sure that everything still aligns properly, that the tacks are good before I pull it all out again, and finally weld everything up. So let's get after that. It's a couple days later, and it got cold, so yeah. Anyway, let's drop the exhaust. tear it apart, we've just marked a line on here on the section that we're going to cut out, and then we've marked the orientation of the muffler with respect to the X-pipe as well, just so that ideally when we put it all back together, everything still lines up and the whole system fits right back into the car again. So let's buzz these clamps off, let's get the mufflers off, let's cut our ugly welds out of the pipe, and let's get our V-bands tacked into place. Getting the mufflers off just about killed me, but got it done. So using the tape around here so I can try and get a good square cut. The tubing cutter clearly was a fail, so we're going to end up using a cutting wheel to cut these things, but I want to make sure everything's nice and square. So, again, I've measured on our V-band between the steps, and it's 181, so we're going to mark where our other piece of tape needs to go. So right there and right there, so that everything stays the same length. Now again, there's some tolerance slipping inside the muffler if the length isn't exactly the same, but it doesn't hurt to try and get it the same in the first place. Okay, so let's get the tape on this side. And clearly that's not square, so I'm going to try again like that. And that one's closer, but still not close enough. So third time's the charm, hopefully. And now we've gone way too much the other way. All right, fourth time. Oh, that's bang on. Okay, that's one side. And that one's close enough. So let's get cutting. we got everything cut. We've got the H-pipe prepped. These are aluminized, so we want to make sure we've got the aluminum coating taken off before we weld. And V-bands fit up in a little step there just beautifully. So we're going to tack them on here, and then we're going to put the actual V-band clamp on, and then we're going to weld this this full side here with the clamp on, just to keep things from warping. Then I haven't prepped these things yet, but we'll do the same thing on these sides. I got another set of 3-inch V-bands, so we can use those to again clamp the full V-band on this side when we weld this. But before we weld this side fully, we're just going to mock everything up in the car to make sure it all looks good before we do final welding on this side. So that gives us the opportunity to make any fine adjustments if we still need to do that. So let's get these things tacked in place, and then let's start welding. So, because Fail is my middle name, this thing, yeah, just tightening it up, it thread failed. So, cheap eBay V-bands, don't buy them. So, this will set me back another few days, as usual. I found a replacement V-band clamp, so got it in, got it snugged up. Everything looks like it's pretty good. Now, I said I was gonna tack everything together, assemble it all, make sure that everything fit well, and then take it all out again and then fully weld it. And then you saw me fully weld everything on the floor. I realized that these little bits of exhaust tubing that fit into the muffler are going to be murder to try and pull out again. And it wasn't the easiest thing to get it all up in the air and reassembled again. And I just trying to conserve some energy, so welded it up, knew that I had a little bit of wiggle room in here to make some fine adjustment. And then I got a bit of wiggle room with the tailpipes too, that I could move the mufflers around a little bit if I needed. So I ended up just welding everything up. And it worked out good. I did this side because I still had the good clamp. Everything I got into alignment, and yeah, no problem. So this side, just put the clamp on now. I actually videotaped that, but didn't have the mic turned on. So it was kind of a silent movie. Figured that you wouldn't want that. So I just got to I got to find the nut that fell off of this thing, clamp that back in place, and then tweak the tailpipes before I tighten them back up, because the tailpipes are really tight with the suspension and frame and everything back there with the big 3-inch pipes. So I need to make sure that they're not going to rattle into anything and they're in their happy spots before I tighten them up. But yeah, let's try and find that nut and let's get everything tightened up, and then we'll fire it up, take it for a drive, and hope that we got no leaks and hope that we got no rattles. We're back from a short drive, and I need to go and tweak one of the tailpipes because I can hear it rattling against the frame. In some positions, if you watch the earlier videos, you know how noodly my frame is on this thing. So depending on how you stop the car, if it twists it up a little bit, then the one tailpipe on the driver's side here will rattle into something. Other times it's fine, but I'm going to wait until everything cools down underneath there and then just go and make a minor adjustment. So that's not a big deal. Otherwise, I guess that's it. So we'll wrap this one up. If you like it, give me a like, thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already and you like this channel, subscribe. If you really like it, share it with your friends. Leave a comment if you want. Otherwise, thanks for watching as usual, and we'll see you on the next adventure, and hopefully fewer fails. Are you running? You are running. I'm wasting footage. All right, let's try and remember what I'm supposed to be saying. I do this without a script, and you'd think I'd learn by now. So I've got the whole X unit and the mufflers, and the whole thing is big and it's heavy and it's a big, ugly operation. And again, I forgot what I was supposed to be saying. Okay, let's try this again. This is take, 9 or something. Welcome back to the shop, or the laboratory, whatever we want to call it. We've got the GTO back in the shop here again, and I'm off script again. Hope that we got no leaks, and hope that we got no rattles. And hope that we got audio on that one.